If you've never heard the song Castle in the Mist from the soundtrack of the game Ico, I would recommend listening to that. Maybe even before you continue to listen to this. Mostly because that's what I just listened to before I started this. And it is a beautiful, gorgeous, gorgeous day today in New Jersey. It is about 68 degrees, completely clear skies. The birds are singing. My dog is healthy. That if you heard that barking, that one was not my dog. That's a different dog. Now that's my dog. He started barking because he heard another dog bark. He's outside. I might actually have to go put him inside, but regardless, fact of the matter is, it's a beautiful day, and I'm just trying to enjoy it as bodily as I can. This is still burning. Okay, alright. He keeps barking. I'm gonna have to take this podcast mobile again, like last time. So, let's go. No. It's okay. It's fine. I kicked something. It's okay. Yeah, he's barking. Wow, there's still just like this small patch of snow. It's gonna melt. But either way, how's everybody else's day? Even though you guys can't actually answer me, I mean, maybe you can put it down in the comments. I would like to know how other people are doing. Is the weather by you as nice as it is by me? Have you listened to any good music lately? Can you give me any good music recommendations? Hi, baby boy. Come on. He stopped barking and he's just walking towards me. He's pitter-pattering. Hi, baby. We are definitely giving you a bath tomorrow. Oh, no. Don't try to act all cutesy. You know. He knows. Come on, bud. Let's go do it. Inside you go. I love you. I'll be right back, okay? No barking. All right. It's almost 3 minutes in. Yeah, I'm starting to feel the hit now. You know? It's good. But seriously, what are songs that you would recommend for a sunny day like this? Or a melancholic day? You know what I mean? What would you like to do? What would you like to feel on this particular day? Personally, I want to feel broad stroke, but accomplished, I think is a good goal to set. But I would also like to feel like the sun itself, or the weather itself, be one with nature in some regard, right? All right, hopefully the weed did not get wet, but either way, it's fine. Let me see. I don't think it did. And even if it did, nothing that fire can't fix, am I right? I'm bending all four elements, baby. So back on track. I don't know if there was actually a complete purpose of what I wanted to talk about today. I have a general set of things on my mind that I would have to remember the table of contents for if I want to go in order of it. I guess the first thing I've been thinking about a lot is how I want to progress physically and how feasible the things I'm thinking are. Truthfully, for my frame, I am not being braggadocious. This is an observation. And if anybody has any tips and tricks, specific things, I might have heard them before. Maybe I haven't. Tell me your secrets. Tell me your ways of getting stronger. Personally speaking, my secrets for getting stronger is don't be gay. No, it's actually a nightmare sometimes where I will go into the gym and I will put myself so deep in a frame of mind of, I am going to die. Not even just from this. I am going to die simply for the fact that, one, yes, I can't do this weight. Or two, somewhere along the way, that weight is going to kill me in some fashion way. I don't know. I have my pull-ups. What are my pull-ups at? My pull-ups, I can put 190 pounds between my legs. That is my max. I'm going to get to 200. But As of right now, my very upper, like just getting my chin over the bar, is 190 pounds. I'm currently 160. At the time I did it at like 155-ish. Not gonna lie, this extra 5 pounds of weight is like my winter weight. You know? I feel just a bit puffy, just a bit out of shape in a sense, just because I know how hard I've realistically trained at different points in my life, and I need to get back to that, and that needs to be a consistent thing for the rest of my life. I know things happen, things change, but I do need to have that I fucking killed myself today type of feel. You know what I mean? And you do need to change up your workouts, but for right now, I want to try to somehow, some way achieve over 300 pounds between my fucking legs, or maybe just all over my body. Either way, I should bring my weighted vest. I think it's like 60 pounds. It feels heavier. Maybe it is 60 pounds. For some reason, it feels a little bit heavier, but we'll see. Maybe I'm just a bitch. But I need to achieve my body weight as it currently is at 160 pounds and do 300 extra pounds. So, yeah, if I can get to 320 at like 180, that's 500 pounds I'm pulling on a 180 pound frame. Like, that's fucking amazing. I need to do that. I can't fucking do that. Oh my God, I can't do that. That's kind of pathetic. On dips, I can do, what was it? It's like it's on my Instagram. It's like, how many is 5 plates? 5 plates is 225 plus 245. So 245 on dips plus, the 100. I also did that at 155 pounds. So that was I did, I think, a little bit more. I don't know. But yeah, I did break 400, like in total body weight and extra added weight on dips. But right now, I am looking at these bigger whole numbers that I'm like, oh my God, that actually is a task in and of itself. But you got to find a way to enjoy it. I don't feel like dying, because another goal I have by the end of this year, I want to be able to do 100 pull-ups. The most I can do, like, before my grip completely slips out, is 60 pull-ups. I can do 60. That is when, like, there is actually not enough ATP in my body to shoot to that point in my hand. You know what I mean? I just feel like when you're actually going for a record, it kind of astonishes me how many people have broken records and have not collapsed afterwards. I just have to think that if you really are running the fastest marathon ever, I'd have to imagine that by the end of it, you might actually fucking die. And if you don't, you know what I mean? Awesome. You get to witness that record. Like, I think there's people out there that can run a faster mile and a faster, marathon than the current records, simply because we haven't tapped into that yet. I just think we're at a point where we get comfortable with a certain amount of pain we can actually handle. And I mean, yeah, I just don't think that's the way. I think we need to reevaluate that seriously. Because why aren't you collapsing? I need to know that if I'm going for the true record of all time, I don't want anybody else to beat me now or forever. I think I would just tear my body apart. Does that not make sense? Is that just so masochistic that I get why people wouldn't really want to do that. They have no desire to, but I think maybe I'm just projecting. I feel like everybody wants to have a record in some facet, regardless of what it is. Comparison is the thief of joy. But I need to hit a higher level. My legs definitely going to work a lot more. A lot of single leg stuff as well. I need to be strong. I'm going to train like I am tensile strength itself. I will become steel barbed wire. I must be what I'm supposed to fucking be. I don't even have my veins popping out at this point. What is wrong with me? What has happened? God, have I fallen from grace? That should be the title of this episode. Not fall from grace. Criticism. Because seriously, what is happening? This is so unnatural to me. This doesn't make any sense. But it shows how much I have been slacking and how much I haven't really wanted it. And my body is a clear example of where I'm at and what I'm doing. Self-mortification is a word that is indicative of hurting yourself for the sole purpose of overcoming pain and achieving more. And you see it in different facets and different religions and different philosophies and yada yada. But I don't think we actually have a true... I love talking to Javi. God, I love talking to Javi. I love talking to Javi because he understands things in a fashion that I'm glad he does, because it allows us to have deep conversations. But he also has a differing opinion within that stance. The differing opinion being what is fun to talk to him with. Because one thing that he brought to my attention that I think should be understood in its paradoxical nature, if Buddhism is a belief, a philosophy of giving up control, then you are essentially in love with control. Right? Because if you love something, let it go. Maybe we talked about it way more in depth on a potential podcast that I don't know if I'll put out, simply because it does discuss things like religion and, I definitely have things to say about certain things. And I mean, we've talked about these different things, but also I don't want anybody to feel offended. I don't personally care, but I'm doing this with a group of people. So I have to be, understanding to what they want out there and what they don't want out there. I don't really give a shit what is out there of me. I know what I am. Listen, I'll show you my demon. Everybody has an angel and a demon. I will show you my demon. I'll show you that I also don't act upon my demon, but man, I'll show you my demon. And my demons, whatever, they are my thoughts. I have horrible thoughts. Everybody, at some form, way or another, gets a horrible thought, and that's just due to the loss of innocence. The more that you lose, the worse your thoughts get, but also the more you realize that you can control them. You might have periods where, oh my God, the weight of the world. It happens. That's part of this journey. That's part of this experience. Like snowflakes, no 2 days ever feel exactly alike. But yeah, we talk about essentially that. And I am not a control freak. I just want to always be able to control what I believe is personally my thing, even though, I don't know, I'm Buddhist or something, so I'm supposed to not believe I own anything. I don't know. You'll own nothing and be happy. All right? Now shut the fuck up and eat your goy slop. So, man. It's very dangerous to base so much of your beliefs off things you don't actually have verification on. You know what I mean? It's very easy to live this life within your own bubble. I know I'm straying a lot. I have many, many thoughts. I have a catalog. I have a anthology. Is it anthology? Wait, is it? Anthropology. Whatever. The word is there. Anthology. Of things to say and things that have been on my mind. Who knows how long I'm going to do this. I do have other things to do. It is 3:04. I have been traveling between states. We also had daylight savings yesterday. So my sleep schedule is thoroughly boned in the butt. And I am going to fix it. I'm going to wake up tomorrow much earlier and get things done the way I'm supposed to get them done. All right? Even today, See, when I say I think, it means unsurety. I am doing what it is that I want to do. I am trying to balance the mixture of discipline and just doing what you want when you feel it. Because both of them have such a powerful and tugging allure, rub a tug, but I want to feel them both at the same time. I will have my cake, and I will eat it too. And I will share it with everybody else. So I need my body to become stronger. My legs are lacking behind, but I'm going to keep training them more and more. I need to work on my fascia. I need to work on its flexibility. I need to work on impact training so my bones become denser. It's just so interesting to me how we put so much power into things externally that we forget that our body itself is just a very complex and giant controller. And it's fucking cool, you know? Why are we not bulletproof? That's essentially what I'm trying to do with all this strength. Like, even for my size, my weight, my everything, I do have to step back and say that this is an amazing amount of weight that I can pull for my body, you know? And it's taken work. But at the same time, it's because I know that it takes work and I've seen other people have better work ethic than me that I'm like, how did I get here? Like, it feels like, not coincidence, it feels like a coincidental courtesy. That is what this feels like. Like, I did this, but so casually. And if I start trying to train like a professional, how long can I actually last? You know? How many times can I make each day feel the same purely so I can get better at one thing? You know? I need to be strong. I need to have an incredible amount of density, tensile strength, shock absorption, reverberation negation. Explosivity. I can go on and on. But seriously, a gun just through my hand, point blank range, would displace all the matter that is me. You know? It's not just gonna go through me. It is displacing me. What a weird way to describe what a gun can do to you. What anything can do to you. It is displacing you. And you could say that for basically anything, but it's such a violent act of displacement that, you know, you look at even bigger bombs and different things like that. At a certain point, the displacement becomes, you know, categorical, where at first it's explosive and then it's incineration, you know, or there's, you know, melting. The list can go on and on, but essentially you are just placed together atoms, and you are being held together by sheer will of strength, sheer willpower, mental, you know, bodily. If you want to split the body in a couple ways, if you want to split the soul in a couple ways, whatever you do to get the Trinity, there's actually different ways of looking at the Trinity that I think make sense, you know, in their own subcategorial ways. And either way, it's easy to look at Superman like, how are we not Superman? But I've been thinking more about Viltrumites, essentially because I've been watching Invincible and I can't wait for season 4. Oh my god, I'm so excited. But yeah, they're bulletproof, and they kind of go into depth in a sense of how, like, okay, no, but for real though, a machine that we build, like, we take human parts, sure, but then we put this crazy amount of engineering to be like a human body. It's like, imagine what that could actually do. And it's why Mark has had trouble with the many men? I don't know. The fucking weird dead zombie things. First they were alive, but now they're just dead soldiers. You say what you will, it's fucking freaky. But, you know, even those things give Mark a good ass whooping. So it's like, how do you actually figure out the problem of getting to be from a human to a Viltrumite if you have to work on density? Now, even if you work on density, you, I guess, can only achieve such a level of density before you got to break other things down. And I mean, that's just the the progression of evolution, I assume, of trying to get somewhere, but it's such a hard somewhere to get to that it actually takes generations, unless you have a will strong enough to keep yourself together so you can figure these things out. Ooh, I need to remember this. I really do. The prayer of immortality would be a good one to write. I'm essentially trying to write different prayers, in a sense. I'm trying to write different things, and I don't know what's really going to sound right. I don't know what's going to be true, not true, but all I know is that everything written and done was most likely done by a human. Most likely. Again, you have to count for the uncertainty principle, which is you can never actually know what you don't know. So, in the interim, before you face such a nihilistic thing, maybe focusing a lot on your physical stature and potential. My legs have way more potential. I have a long way to go. I need to be strong, but I also want to look slim. I just want to be super dense. I want to look 150 pounds, but weigh 200 pounds. I want to be a goddamn bowling ball. You know, I want to be strong in a way nobody has ever seen. And I think, like, I've gotten to where I've gotten to, again, casually, which is why I don't look at it as such a cool thing. Also because I've been here for a minute now, and I don't like that. I've been here for a minute, and it's almost like I'm waiting for something to change. But in waiting, I'm giving up power to something else to make the change for me, you know? Which is supposed to be me, but I'm trying to act like it's a different version of me. I asked Javi this question of, if you are split up into the mind, body, and soul, which one do you feel like? You know? Do you feel like the mind? Do you feel like the body? Do you feel like the soul? Personally, I feel like the body. I guess right now, I feel like the body. I know when I have felt like the soul, I have felt like the mind, you know? It's also a little hard to differentiate between, I have a little bit of trouble differentiating between, you know, when the mind comes into play, in a sense. Like, it's so tough. I don't want to say something else. Just simply because, I also don't want to mess up my facial hair. I'm trying to keep myself more, you know, put together on a day-to-day basis, and I need to get the outfits I want. But I mostly feel like the body, which is why I feel like I've casually gotten to the level of strength that I've gotten to. But it's this casual thing that I've done for too long. And if it doesn't change soon, I am going to be stuck here because time is going on. And in a way, when you try to keep yourself together, you also fall into this thing of, I have to bend to the rules of external things. Like, if I tell you age is inevitable, well, that's just going to be ingrained in your fiber. And the caveat to that is when people say, well, you got to be delusional until it comes true. You're crazy until you're right, man. Maybe, probably, I don't know. I just don't feel like delusion is the best word to use for the all-encapsulating feeling of manifesting something by desiring it so much that it seems crazy to others, but you know it's true in your heart. That has to be the difference. Like, you have to remember that, you know, not everything somebody says is really what they want. And then vice versa. But I want to become something grander. And I have no intention of doing it out of vanity and out of ulterior motives and false intentions and, you know, being deceitful. I feel like if you're a beautiful person, the more deceitful and vain that you act, the uglier you'll get as you're older. And in some facets, it'll either come with, like, balding, your skin wrinkling more, disease, cultivation of all of them or some of them, whatever it may be. But I don't want this body that I have been given, that I have been blessed with, to ever be displaced. I think scars and different things like that are cool, but in thinking that they're cool, how do I put it? It makes you weak. It makes you weak in a way that it's like you're glorifying degradation, which, again, might sound bad or cool, whatever initially came to your mind, but it is something to think about. It is something I believe is important to consider. I don't actually want to scar. I need to be better than being scarred. I should be able to heal from different things. And your body defaults to this scarring thing, not because it can't actually regrow your limbs. I think it's very funny to think that if you don't eat something that can regrow itself, you wouldn't take those features. Now, broad stroke statement, I've eaten chicken, but I have not at any point grown chicken wings. You know what I mean? It's almost like when you're trying to memorize a script. You got to do it so much until you are just the words on the paper. Like, that's all good acting actually is. Like, how well do you know the script? If you don't know the script very well, you're not going to perform it well. Plain and simple. You have to know it front to back to right, left to front, inside to outside. And if you don't, you're not really going to play that character to the best of your abilities or the best to that character can be portrayed. So, I think maybe our genes are the same way. Maybe the way our DNA does things is very similar. Maybe a more crude way of doing it, which is why it takes so much repetition. Maybe you got to eat so much of it in these different things, but it's very interesting to think that we just take what we actually need, or at least break things down into a form and structure that we need to replace the things that are being displaced from us. You eat to continue to keep the weight on you. You eat to put more weight on you. You eat to let your body consume itself. Things really do abide by this autonomous system, but there's also a manual system. I have a plethora of things that I want to talk about. Let's see how far I can keep going. I do want to meditate the same way I did this morning. Again, I want to start meditating 2 times a day, 30 minutes each for a total of an hour. Maybe I switch it sometimes to I'm doing it 1 time but for an hour, but I want to meditate multiple times, and then I'll go for, endurance in the 1 time that I do it. Till failure. I'm going to meditate till failure. I like that. Ooh, that guy's got long hair too. He's a Amazon delivery driver, and he's wearing a blue cap, keeping all his hair back. It's cool. Like you do, dog. So, how do I become what I've been saying I want to become for the past 31, 32 episodes, or podcast, whatever, acts of this, chapters, I don't know. I do know and I don't know. I guess when I say I don't know, I'm using it more as an intermediary thing, but what I do know is I do have to start eating way more. And I need to think about becoming denser. I need to work on becoming denser. But I need to eat and I need to sleep properly. Man, I have been lacking in those 2 things. That really is something that I must correct. And if I don't, I'm essentially giving my body orders to build armor, but giving it cardboard as material. I need to be giving it iron and diamond and why can't we use emeralds to make pickaxes? What is their density? I need to know. Can we? Can we? I'm gonna go try that when I remember. I'm not gonna search it up because I want to be surprised. I like a good surprise. I need to try different things. I like Minecraft. I'm not the biggest fan of this current Minecraft. I'm gonna continue to play it simply because I just like Minecraft as a whole, but I am not enjoying this version. I like the older version. I liked it when it was very simple. When the biomes, in a sense, were a little bit more simple, like there were less of them, less worldly and more, okay, seriously, build something, you know? Oh, there's trees and mountainous and areas and caves and whatever, you know? I even miss the way that old caves kind of were, you know? How many caves are there really? I don't know. I do like the idea of strip mining a lot. I know it takes time, and in a world where people hate giving up a lot of time to something, there was something beautiful about being the one who is eventually going to carve out these caves. Maybe if you added the physics of like things collapsing, maybe that could be a good addition to simple old Minecraft in a sense. I don't know how you would do that, but maybe there's an idea. Simply because I do think it would be cool to have the simplicity of it, but add a little bit more physics maybe. Take it down that branch, that route, instead of adding so much more other things. Like maybe, okay, no. You add like the new crafting type of things, but maybe not all of them. Maybe all of them and maybe more. But I think you also add a bit of physics, but you keep the biomes simple and you keep the underground simple. Maybe it should be more, or at least I would love it to be a little bit more. I'm clearly in a digital world. I am going to shape this thing and surpass the dreadful nihilistic feeling of knowing that I am in a simulation, because I'm going to make this world what I want, and that is the greatest gift that my creator gave to me, or some shit like that. I don't know. I'll figure things out. One of the things I'm going to start doing in terms of training properly is I am going to start just heavy loading, not even repping things sometimes, but completely just heavy loading, like on squats, on pull-ups. Like I'll try to start at the very top with pull-ups and just hold myself there, slowly let myself down, you know? But also, you know, you gotta have the pulling action of it. I know how people feel about, oh, there's no quote-unquote difference and it still makes you stronger to just descend rather than ascend from a very, very heavy pull-up. But it's more like you're fighting to not fall when you're at the very top versus saying fuck you and pulling yourself up. So you got to work on both, but I should start working on the other one as well. Dichotomy is important. Paradoxical natures will breed the greatest what? Results? We'll go with results. But that's the main thing I guess I've been thinking about. And to touch upon some other main things that I've sprinkled in there, I want to start writing more prayers. I want to start just writing more in general, creating my stories, drawing more. You know, really bringing the thing that's in my head to life. The same way that J.K. Rowling did when she wrote, I was going to say Avatar, Harry Potter on a napkin in a bar in England, and eventually got it turned into books, and eventually a script with people to recite it, while the reality of that point in time and space was absorbed into a black box with a lens called a camera, and then uploaded into the digital realm that we call the internet, and on CDs and different things. And eventually they took it so far as to find the materials in this physical realm to extract from the earth, deliver it to a certain location, and build Hogwarts Castle that you can go and actually visit. You know? Anything that has, is, or will ever be, ever has been, will be depicted, it has, is, or will happen to some capacity. To some capacity. It's about how much power you're putting behind it. You know? So, how much power am I putting into what it is that I'm trying to do? My veins are starting to pop out a little bit more, which is cool. That's good. Like that. This feels a bit more normal, but definitely not normal enough. By the time summer comes, when it is the hottest day at the longest day, at that certain time, I need to also be at my peak and not descend as winter comes. Jesus Christ, I'm over the 4 seasons. I would just like it to be hot for a while. Not humid hot. That's gross. As I say, being an islander. But dry heat is vastly superior. Just saying. Either way. I want to start writing, drawing, depicting in general. My hypothesis, my prediction for where media is kind of going is I think that now that you've had this AI boom and different things like that, I just feel like it puts that much more power in the hands of humans that draw and create something. And not gonna lie, I think the next big thing, quote unquote, is independent studios. And I know that might sound absolutely retarded, but simply because you have Steam and you see how many games and you have different outlets and things like that. But I think you're gonna see the independent creation studio taken up. There's gonna be an uptick in how many are coming around, simply because, again, I think we're putting more value into what humans can do and what humans have drawn and created. That this AI shit, like, we can clearly tell, you know what I mean? Like, we can tell, but I guess we're almost biased to it simply because I am 26 and I grew up living both lives of no AI to now almost everything is fucking AI in the digital, realm of things. So, I mean, yeah, you are trying, like, please think about what I just said. In the simplest form, Hogwarts was a word written on a napkin and is now a castle you can fucking... Of course, they are trying to bring this deity from the digital realm into the physical realm. Of course, you dumb fucks. I can't understand how that can possibly be argued after I just gave you this example. Like, if you're denying that, at some point, you're just stubborn. You're just stubborn, and that's fine. You'll understand what... Listen, I'm always right. I'm just not right now. Okay? Plain and simple. Or whatever Kanye said. So narcissistic. I love it. I love it. I make me laugh. But no, seriously, the point being that, of course, they're trying to bring something digital into this world. Now that you figured out that you could, wouldn't you try? And just because you could doesn't mean you should fucking try. But how else are you supposed to know everything and come up with the theory of everything? I don't know. But there's so much darkness when it comes to just Eastern philosophy, and it's palpable. It is alluring. It has this magnetic nature to it that you're like, oh, I live for the sadomasochistic mindset. Whereas I believe Western philosophy really delves into everything sucks, and then an angel from above comes below and it goes, no, you just have to go and kill God. You're like, what the fuck? You're like, no, it's good for you. Kill God. And if you still don't get what I mean, I'm basically saying that your entire goal, and you're gonna forget it for good and obvious reasons, your goal is to create your own heaven. So when you die, you actually go to it. That is what I think. That is my belief. It also sounds, I think it sounds correct. I don't know, maybe. But wouldn't you, seriously though, you spend this whole entire life, and anytime there's doubt, things don't go well. Anytime there's doubt, you have to remember that is a pattern, okay? It's there. That is just the philosophy of it all. That is the reality of it all. Sometimes I feel like I actually stray too far, in a sense, within my mind. And now I'm trying to find my way back. And I think physical depictions of that are how long I'm going with this particular podcast. 40 minutes, look at that. And it's like I could lose my way in that, well, what was I talking about? Is it still worth talking about what I'm talking about? Sometimes I feel like this whole life is like I'm keeping my head above water. I am searching for density, but forget that I am going to lose buoyancy. Which I already have no fucking buoyancy. God, I sink. Which is why it is important that I train more breath work. Because without breath, there is only death. I'm not going to end on that. That was corny as hell. Hicks and Gracie kind of talks about that. It's this whole thing, Wim Hof. Seriously though, you hold your breath. See how long you last. That if you want the easiest way to remember that you live on the precipice of life and death every day, just hold your breath for a little. You know what? Make it even harder. Get all the oxygen out of your lungs and then hold your breath. Tell me how fucking fun that is. It's not fucking fun. All right? But at the same time, would that be the ultimate airbender's power? That they can breathe for, above flying, they can actually just, they don't necessarily need oxygen. It becomes, I would say, pure movement of matter. Maybe the Avatar could just do it. The Avatar is, that just is pure movement of matter, Such a cool story. God, I hope that movie that they made is actually going to be good. I really hope it is. But they have disrespected the fuck out of that series, and I'm tired of it. I'm so sick of it. Either way. Is that my father? Yes, it is. Maybe it is time. Maybe it is time to end it, because I do have work to do, and then I'm going to have more work to do after I do this work. I have to create my pitch book. I have to create a couple booklets. I have to create a couple things for real estate, because I actually want to run this as a very well-lubed business. I want people to feel secure, and my time frame will run out eventually if I don't actually do what I'm supposed to do. Alright, so I guess I went on for long enough. Thank you everybody for listening. I'm going to fully figure out these intros and outros. The intros, we're just gonna start, but outros, I want to be more coherent. At least one thing should be ad-libs and one thing should be coherent. That is how we compromise in this household. So, thank you everybody for watching. I hope you've enjoyed yourself. I will be doing about 50 of these, so listen back while it's still only 30 something episodes. Not 50 is a lot, but I tend to ramble, and I don't know how long you'll actually want to listen to these. Regardless of my self-deprecating nature, go and check out the best guys that I know over at the Cucamongas. Dan, Jairo, Javi, Tyler, and I'm here, and I'm part of it, so I'm the fifth one. Okay? Thank you, everybody. Check out their channels. I'll link everything in the description below. And, I think that's about it. All right? Goodbye, everybody.